Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be completely different from me in that I'm not going to be cooking anything today. So that's just a heads up for anybody that might have came looking for a video on what I was going to be cooking today. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an unboxing. Now this is not a sponsored video, and I'm not going to be on here promoting any certain brand. If you happen to see the brand that it is, you know, that's fine. But I've never even used this brand. So I don't know if it's any good or not. All I'm going by are the reviews that I read, because I do read them. And the reviews were all good on this product. I've had something similar in the past, but it was too large and bulky for the area in which I need to use it in. So, without further ado, let's get over here and get this box opened. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work or how well you're going to be able to see it or anything like that, because I don't have a large area. I don't have a large house. Okay, so here's my box. It's not too large. We're going to get it open. There's nothing left in the box, so I'm going to toss it to the side. And oh yeah, you'll see the brand because it's all over the side of these buckets. You know, and I don't blame them. But like I said, I'm not promoting a brand because I don't know anything about this brand. You may see two 5-gallon buckets. This is actually a hydroponic grow system. And the one that I purchased, you could get a 1 bucket, a 2 bucket, or a 4 bucket. I don't have room for a 4 bucket right now at this present time. I do, however, have room for 2. I have done some hydroponic gardening in the past, and the romaine lettuce that I grew in that little garden was the best romaine lettuce I have ever eaten. It tasted so clean. Now I'm going to see what came with our little buckets. So we've got 2 buckets, and we've got 1. These are some stones. That's 1 bag. 2 bags. And you have 2 lids that look like this. They're more like a basket. Now the system I had before only had the small openings. They were nowhere near this large, and that's why I wanted to try one of these, because the one I was growing in before grew lettuce beautifully. But I can only imagine how much better that lettuce will be when it has a larger area to grow in. So, you just put the lid on. I know this probably came with some directions. I haven't found them yet, but I will need them when I go to actually set this up. We have another box. I think first we're going to check out what's in our box. So we'll get that opened. Inside our box, we have a warranty. It's a 1-year warranty, so that's pretty good. Okay, air control. I believe this is probably the pump. That's nice and heavy. This is not cheap made at all. I'm pleasantly surprised with that. I'm pretty sure this is probably where our air tubes are going to go. Got a plug. Just a standard plug. So that's really nice. It has an air control knob. Okay. So we've got these little mats. I'm not exactly sure what they're called. They're round. Okay, here's some tubing with some valves. We have some, looks like maybe little gaskets. Little fittings maybe. I'm going to have to read the directions to figure out where all this goes. There are 2 of these in here. These are high quality centered bubble stones. So these probably go down inside the bucket, more than likely. The last hydroponic unit that I had did not have these. So I am not familiar with what this actually is. We have tubing. This is just plain tubing right here. I'm sure that I'll need to cut it to fit the size I need. And then there are 2 of these. So 1 for each bucket. And that's it. And I hope the instructions are on this warranty, because if not, it didn't come with any. Okay, there we go. It's just a product contents overview that tells you everything you have. Okay, this is actually a drip irrigation ring. So that's interesting. Okay, and one of these is a water inlet tube, and one of these is a water level tube. So that's what those are. And this is actually an air stone. And these are the instructions. So, this should be pretty fun. At least Keith is home. So he can help me should I need him to. Anyway, I'll bring you along as I try to put this thing together. You can see this is Keith putting this together, not me. I decided I wasn't made for that job.
She's not a jack of all trades.
I try to be, but I couldn't wrap my head around all those little cords and tubes. Little tubes and stuff. Okay, y'all, we're going to get started on the hydroponic lettuce. And I'm going to be growing some Tiny Tim tomatoes in the other one. Let's get this started. These are kind of weird angles for me to be trying to film at, so just bear with me on this. I haven't found a good spot to put the camera yet. So we're going to start by putting 4 gallons of water in this bucket. So here goes the first gallon. Let me go get the other 3. This is number 2, 3, and the last one, number 4. Next, I'm going in with my plant food. 4 gallons of water is roughly, it's a little bit more than 15 liters. So I'm going to go by the 15 liter. According to the directions, for 15 liters of water, you're going to need 75 milliliters of A plant food and 75 milliliters of B plant food. Now the caps, these caps are marked with the milliliters on there. So let's get to it. Let's get plant A and plant B foods mixed in with our water. Okay, we're going to do 3 20s and 1 15. That was my 3 20s. And my 1 15. Y'all didn't know I could count, did you? 20, 40, 60, 75. Now we're going to do the same thing with our plant B food. We're going to do 75. Now this one looks different than our plant A, but here we go. It's 20, 40, 60, and last but not least, 75. Now I'm counting it out loud, more for myself than y'all, so that I can keep track of how many I put in there. Now on to other things. Now you're going to take your basket and you're just going to drop it down in there like so. Make sure it's on there. And looks like 4 gallons was good. I can actually see it up in the little basket. We have our little ring right here, our little drip ring. So I'll show y'all how that's going to work when we get everything else in there. So next, you want to take your little clay pebbles. Remember, we've got 1 per bag. And you're just going to dump them in this bucket. Okay, now here's the pump. And it's not plugged in. So let's plug it in. You probably heard that turn on. Now it does have an air control knob for more or less. I'm going to put it about midway. It does not have an on and off switch that I have found. I could be overlooking it. I'll check again. So this will have to be unplugged and plugged back up until I get a timer put on it. But you can put a timer on it. So that's what I intend to do. Now this does have a shut-off valve right here for the water. So we're going to switch that on. Just like that. And I'm going to show you what that does. When I opened the water valve, it makes the water come up through the little hoses. And it comes out your drip ring at the top so that it wets your clay pebbles. Now let's get us some lettuce planted. So next, we're going to take our romaine lettuce seeds. We're just going to throw some down in these clay pebbles. And over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll see what happens. Now y'all keep in mind, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to this larger grow system. We're just going to put some seeds down in here. Hopefully they'll start growing. Let's do some right here in the center. Now I'll put some more of my clay pebbles on the top. Now each one comes with this reflector thing. It's a ring. And it fits down on the top of that. But on all the reviews that I read, people are either not using these, or their main issue with them is when they put it on here like this and your plants start growing out of the top, they can't get this off of the plant to be able to clean the bucket inside and to replenish the water and the nutrients, things like that. So I have taken mine and I have simply just cut it. So our lettuce has been started. Now you've got a little tube. You've got a little tube right here. And it's got a little red ball in it. And it shows us, the little red ball's right here. It shows where your water level is. so that you don't have to be trying to take this lid off this bucket all the time and figure that out. So that's going to be very handy. But there sits our empty bucket, and I need to get it ready to grow some cherry tomatoes. So here goes. I decided I better unplug it while I'm doing this. Gallon number 3 and number 4. And I'm going to do the same as I did in the first one. 75 milliliters of A plant food and 75 milliliters of B. And 75. And 75 B. Now I'm going to go in with some of my little seeds. These are tiny Tims, and they are a dwarf variety, so they only reach about 12 inches in height, which is perfect if you're going to be growing indoors. Okay, y'all, so that's it. That's all I've got for you. This video took me probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks to make because I was so busy. I just kept not getting around to getting those fixed up the rest of the way with all the water and the nutrients and the clay pebbles and the seeds. Just no excuse other than I didn't get around to it yet. I will say I'm thankful that Keith put those things together for me though, so I didn't have to get a headache trying to do all that. Now, I've never claimed to be an expert on hydroponic growing. Never will claim to be an expert. I just enjoy the process of growing lettuce and tomatoes in the house. I just enjoy the process of watching them grow. It's really neat because they grow so fast when you grow them hydroponically, and they're growing just in water. There is one last step when you're growing hydroponically, and that is to test your pH levels in your water. Now, the little kit that I had ordered off of Amazon, I don't know, a year or so ago, I still have a lot of it because I haven't done a lot of hydroponic growing. But this kit came with a little vial, and it came with this. So you're going to get you some water out of the bucket, and you're going to put it in your vial. Then you're going to take your pH test indicator. This is a liquid, and you're going to pour however many drops that it says on the bottle into your vial of water. And now the water inside this vial is going to change colors. And it gives the whole range. See the different colors? It tells you on there, it'll have a number, and that's going to be what your pH level is. Now, if your pH level is perfect, you're not going to do a thing. But if your pH level is off a little bit, one way or the other, you're going to use either a pH up, this is your base. You will either use this to raise your pH level, or you're going to use the pH down to lower your pH level until you get it to the exact pH level that you need for what you're growing. So like I said, I'm no expert. I'm just a lady in her house growing some lettuce and tomatoes hydroponically, or at least trying to. I'm going to take you on the journey. I'll give you updates here and there when things start actually happening. And I'll let you know how many days it's been since this video was made till when we get some lettuce and tomatoes growing. So today is Saturday, July the 19th. Now you won't see this video until Tuesday. So if you want to mark it down on a calendar somewhere and keep up with the growth of the romaine lettuce and the little tomatoes, feel free to do so, because I will update you as often as things happen. Now I know this video has been really different from what you're used to seeing from me. Usually I'm in the kitchen cooking. This does pertain to food, so I thought it would be fun to take you on this little journey to see the process. So I hope you've enjoyed this video anyway. If you did, please go give it a like, share the video with your friends and family, and make sure to leave me a comment below. And if you made it to the end of this video, leave me a comment below with just the word Mater, M-A-T-E-R, Mater. And I'll see you in the next video.